Wanna play hide and clap?
Oh, the horror genre. What a decade it's been, am I right? The rumblings of a quality horror comeback felt during the 2000s morphed into a full-blown renaissance during the 2010s. The 2010s started with a bumper crop of unlikely remake success stories. Meanwhile, movies like Cabin in the Woods were hilariously tearing apart the foundations of horror tropes, creaky after decades of abuse, allowing for something else to be built upon, The Remains.
No matter what happens, we have to stay together. This isn't right.
What? What's the matter?
This isn't right. We should split up.
While 2013's The Conjuring turned relentless old-school scares into blockbuster business, 2014 marks the beginning of a new nightmare that really took shape with an unexpected headline grabber like The Babadook. All in all, this was going to be horror in the 2010s, an unseen force spreading into bewildering frontiers of intimate grief and personal storytelling, frequently on back-to-basics budgets. And by 2017, horror was all but inescapable, in the record books, at the Oscars, on streaming services, and of course at your local theater.
Oh, no. 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 No, 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 no.
So we took all these movies and more and ranked them by adjusted Tomatometer, which factors in release year and number of reviews to help compare movies of different sizes and times. Speaking of, because the competition is so cutthroat, we put in a 40 review minimum, ensuring the most critically buzzed were the ones to fill out the collection. Alright, we've delayed the inevitable long enough, so whether you're here to find new horror movies and recommendations, or to let the last 10 years of diabolical memories come rushing back, see the blood, sweat, tears, and more blood that made this decade one to carry to the grave in our countdown of the best horror movies of the 2010s. Starting with number 10, Under the Shadow. After Shide's building is hit by a missile during the Iran-Iraq War, a superstitious neighbor suggests that the missile was cursed and might be carrying malevolent Middle Eastern spirits. She becomes convinced a supernatural force within the building is attempting to possess her daughter Dorsa, and she has no choice but to confront these forces if she is to save her daughter and herself. Starring Nargis Rashidi, Avin Manshadi, Bobby Nadiri, and directed by Babek Anvari. Critics say Under the Shadow deftly blends seemingly disparate genres to deliver an effective chiller with timely themes and thought-provoking social subtext. Number 9, It. 7 young outcasts in Derry, Maine are about to face their worst nightmare, an ancient, shape-shifting evil that emerges from the sewer every 27 years to prey on the town's children. Banding together over the course of one horrifying summer, the friends must overcome their own personal fears to battle the murderous, bloodthirsty clown known as Pennywise. Starring Jaden Martell, Sophia Lillis, Bill Skarsgård, and directed by Andy Muschietti. Critics say well acted and fiendishly frightening with an emotionally affecting story at its core, it amplifies the horror in Stephen King's classic story without losing touch with its heart.
Hiya, Georgie. What a nice pony. Do you want it back?
Yes, please.
You look like a nice boy. I bet you have a lot of friends.
3, but my brother's my bestest.
Where's he?
In bed, sick.
I bet I could cheer him up. I'll give him a balloon. Do you want a balloon too, Georgie?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. Pennywise? Yes, meet Georgie. Georgie, meet Pennywise. Now we aren't strangers, are we?
Number 8, The Cabin in the Woods. When 5 college friends arrive at a remote forest cabin for a little vacation, little do they expect the horrors that await them. One by one, they all fall victim to backwoods zombies, but there is another factor at play. 2 scientists are manipulating the ghoulish goings-on, but even as the body count rises, there is yet more at work than meets the eye. Starring Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Frayne Kranz, and directed by Drew Goddard. Critics say The Cabin in the Woods is an astonishing meta feat, capable of being funny, strange, and scary, frequently all at the same time. Number 7, The Witch. In 1630 New England, panic and despair envelops a farmer, his wife, and their children when youngest son Samuel suddenly vanishes. The family blames Thomasin, the oldest daughter, who was watching the boy at the time of his disappearance. With suspicion and paranoia mounting, twin siblings Mercy and Jonas suspect Thomasin of witchcraft, testing the clan's faith, loyalty, and love to one another. Starring Anya Taylor-Joy, Ralph Ineson, Kate Dickey, and directed by Robert Eggers. Critics say, as thought-provoking as it is visually compelling, The Witch delivers a deeply unsettling exercise in slow-building horror that suggests great things for debuting writer-director Robert Eggers.
Boo! There you are. Boo! Where's Sam? Where's Sam? Where's that little man? Boo! There you are. There you are. Boo! Sam? Samuel!
Number 6, It Follows. After carefree teenager Jay sleeps with her new boyfriend Hugh for the first time, she learns that she is the latest recipient of a fatal curse that is passed from victim to victim via sexual intercourse. Death, Jay learns, will creep inexorably toward her as either a friend or a stranger. Jay's friends don't believe her seemingly paranoid ravings until they too begin to see the phantom assassins and band together to help her flee or defend herself. Starring Micah Monroe, Keir Gilchrist, Daniel Zavato, and directed by David Robert Mitchell. Critics say smart, original, and above all, terrifying. It Follows is a rare modern horror film that works on multiple levels and leaves a lingering sting.
Somebody broke the window. That really happened.
But I saw a girl in the kitchen. Jay, I love you. You're okay. You don't believe me. Mom? Mom, is that you? No, it's me. Yara? Yeah. Don't open the door. See? Everything's okay. Jay! What are you doing?
Number 5, Hereditary. When the matriarch of the Graham family passes away, her daughter and grandchildren begin to unravel cryptic and increasingly terrifying secrets about their ancestry, trying to outrun the sinister fate that they have inherited. Starring Toni Collette, Millie Shapiro, Alex Wolff, and directed by Ari Aster. Critics say Hereditary uses its classic setup as a framework for a harrowing, uncommonly unsettling horror film whose cold touch lingers long beyond the closing credits.
Why are you scared of me?
What? I never wanted to be your mother.
Why?
I was scared. I didn't feel like a mother. But she pressured me.
Then why did you have me?
It wasn't my fault. I tried to stop it.
How?
I tried to have a miscarriage.
How?
However I could. I did everything they told me not to do, but it didn't work. I'm happy it didn't work.
You tried to kill me.
I love you.
Why did you try to kill me?
I did. I was trying to save you.
Why did you try to kill me?
Number 4, The Babadook. A troubled widow discovers that her son is telling the truth about a monster that entered their home through the pages of a children's book. Starring Essie Davis, Noah Weissman, Barbara West, and directed by Jennifer Kent. Critics say The Babadook relies on real horror rather than cheap jump scares and boasts a heartfelt, genuinely moving story to boot. Number 3, A Quiet Place. If they hear you, they hunt you. A family must live in silence to avoid mysterious creatures that hunt by sound. Knowing that even the slightest whisper or footstep can bring death, Evelyn and Lee are determined to find a way to protect their children while desperately searching for a way to fight back. Starring Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, and John Krasinski, who also directed the movie. Critics say A Quiet Place artfully plays on elemental fears with a ruthlessly intelligent creature feature that's as original as it is scary, and establishes director John Krasinski as a rising talent. Number 2, Get Out. Now that Chris and his girlfriend Rose have reached the meet the parents milestone of dating, she invites him for a weekend getaway with Missy and Dean. At first, Chris reads the family's overly accommodating behavior as nervous attempts to deal with their daughter's interracial relationship, but as the weekend progresses, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries leads him to a truth that he could never have imagined. Starring Daniel Kaluuya, Allison Williams, Bradley Whitford, and directed by Jordan Peele. Critics say funny, scary, and thought-provoking, Get Out seamlessly weaves its trenchant social critiques into a brilliantly effective and entertaining horror comedy thrill ride.
Do you find that being African American has more advantage or disadvantage in the modern world?
It's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know, man. Hey. Yo, my man. They were asking me about the African-American experience. Maybe you could take this one.
Oh. Well, I find that the African-American experience for me has been, for the most part, very good. Although, I find it difficult to go into detail as I haven't had much desire to leave the house in a while.
We've become such homebodies.
Yes, but even when you go into the city, I've just had no interest. The chores have become my sanctuary. Get out.
Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out!
Yo!
Yeah!
Yo, chill, man.
Get out!
Chill,
Chill, man! Chill!
And before we reveal number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Tigers are not afraid. When a girl's mother disappears, leaving her on her own, she joins a gang of street children, leading to a tragic chain of events. Starring Paola Lara, Juan Ramon Lopez, Hansel Casillas, and directed by Issa Lopez. Critics say Tigers Are Not Afraid draws on childhood trauma for a story that deftly blends magical fantasy and hard-hitting realism and leaves a lingering impact.
Donde nos puso a todos.
Ready or not. Grace couldn't be happier after she marries the man of her dreams at his family's luxurious estate. There's just one catch. She must now hide from midnight until dawn while her new in-laws hunt her down with guns, crossbows, and other weapons. As Grace desperately tries to survive the night, she soon finds a way to turn the tables on her not-so-lovable relatives. Starring Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, Mark O'Brien, and directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette. Critics say smart, subversive, and darkly funny, Ready or Not is a crowd-pleasing horror film with giddily entertaining bite.
Whenever the little masses are presented with a new addition to the family, we place a blank playing card into the box. Our initiate then has the privilege of drawing the card, and Mr. LaBelle will tell us which game to play.
I got chess.
I got Old Maid.
Seriously, what the f is Old Maid?
Fitch.
So I just take out the card?
My dear, it is your turn.
What does it say, girl?
Oh, it says hide and seek. Are we really gonna play that? Everything okay?
And before we get to number 1, here is another honorable mention. The Conjuring. In 1970, paranormal investigators and demonologists Lorraine and Ed Warren are summoned to the home of Carolyn and Roger Perrin. The Perrins and their 5 daughters have recently moved into a secluded farmhouse where a supernatural presence has made itself known. Though the manifestations are relatively benign at first, events soon escalate in horrifying fashion, especially after the Warrens discover the house's macabre history. Starring Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, Lily Taylor, and directed by James Wan. Critics say well-crafted and gleefully creepy, The Conjuring ratchets up dread through a series of effective old-school scares.
Are you all right?
Do you see it?
See what?
There's someone behind the door.
What?
There's someone standing over there.
I don't see anyone.
It's looking right at us. Nancy, don't. Nancy.
No, look. Look, there's no one here. See? Ugh, it's that smell again.
Oh my God. It's standing right behind you.
And finally, number 1, Us. Accompanied by her husband, son, and daughter, Adelaide Wilson returns to the beachfront home where she grew up as a child. Haunted by a traumatic experience from the past, Adelaide grows increasingly concerned that something bad is going to happen. Her worst fears soon become a reality when 4 masked strangers descend upon the house, forcing the Wilsons into a fight for survival. When the masks come off, the family is horrified to learn that each attacker takes the appearance of one of them. Starring Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, Elizabeth Moss, and directed by Jordan Peele. Critics say, with Jordan Peele's second inventive, ambitious horror film, we have seen how to beat the sophomore jinx, and it is Us. Well, friends, friends, that about does it for us. Be sure to stay tuned to the Rotten Tomatoes channel for more of the entertainment content that you love, and for even more news, scores, and recommendations on the latest TV shows and movies, go to RottenTomatoes.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Naz Perez, and we'll see you back here for more Top 10s on the Rotten Tomatoes Countdown.